and a warm welcome to TBC News. Our headlines tonight. President Dr. Samia revokes appointments of 5 government officials. Tanzania among 8 African countries set for African Continental Free Trade Area.
Our plan is just to start at least with 10 products by 1st of July 2023.
Good evening. For the next 30 minutes, you will be with me, Rose Shire, giving you the latest and most credible news for today. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages at TBC Online. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has revoked the appointments of 5 officials, including Mbarali District Commissioner Ruben Mfune. Others whose appointments have been revoked by the President effective from January 22nd, 2023 are 4 executive directors. The press statement issued by Director of Presidential Communications Zuhura Yunus mentions Msongela Palela of Musoma District in Mara Region, Michael Matomora from Iramba in Singida Region, Lino Mwageni of Ushetu, Shinyanga Region, and Sunday Ndori of Ludewa District in Njombe Region as the 4 district executive directors who have been sacked. Tanzania has been mentioned among 8 countries in Africa that have been identified to implement the African Continental Free Trade Area Pilot Program, AFCFTA. Following the move, Tanzania business community has urged to cope up with a plan of identifying 10 important products to enter into the trade by July this year. Rehema Sibabili has more to report.
It is a meeting that brings together stakeholders of the private sector and the ministry responsible for investment, industry and trade in the country, which aims at providing an initiative that will guide the business communities to seize the opportunities within the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. The Minister of Investment, Industry and Trade, Dr. Chateau says trade in Africa is still low, mentioning that it contributes about 2.6% to the world's income. She calls for business communities to take advantage of the African market to sell Tanzanian products across the continent.
Our plan is just to start at least with 10 products by 1st of July 2023. So we are just seeing the possibilities of having all these 10. And today, as I have said before, our stakeholders who are the producers and suppliers have shown the interest of having these 10 goods to be supplied in the CFTA markets. But also we should not forget about supplying the services, because the CFTA protocol allows also to trade with services. So that's why even today we had these transporters, financial institutions who can offer services in the CFTA market.
For their part, some stakeholders in this sector say that they are ready to see the opportunity of a potential market of 1.4 billion people with a combined income of $1.2 trillion.
An African Continental Free Trade Area is the right answer for us, so we don't have to really do much in order to trade like as if you want to trade with European Union or with other countries. This is the best chance, and it was one of the best meetings.
We are very prepared. We have been prepared for a while. Our farmers, our members have been transacting within the region, within Africa, within international markets. But now we will just reinforce our efforts in ensuring we do not miss the opportunity of the 54 African countries that are very ready to receive our horticulture products.
We are prepared for the AFCFTA, but what we have requested is that we need to be competitive or strong enough in the mother country, and then at least obvious then AFCFTA offers opportunity, but obvious they also need competitiveness, which requires economies of scale, which requires utilization of full capacities. So everything boils down to we need to be competitive in the local market.
Some of the 8 countries that have started to do business within Africa Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, includes Kenya, Ghana, Cameroon, Rwanda, and Mauritius. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Rahima Sababili, TBC News.
To understand more on the program and how it will benefit Tanzanians, we are joined by the Acting Director of TCCIA, Mr. Nebat Mopela. Welcome to TBC.
Thank you very much.
So, earlier today, TCCIA, the Tanzania Chambers of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, had a dialogue on the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Yes.
In summary, can you kindly explain what was concluded in that dialogue and how is Tanzania going to benefit from the African Continental Free Trade Area?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. I would just say briefly that the African Continental Free Trade Area is a platform that creates or strengthens the ties between African countries. Remember, we have an African Union, and the African Union has a development agenda. We are moving on the theme called Africa We Want by 2063. Under that agenda, it propelled the Union to form a platform that now can prosper, or can push forward this agenda. That's where the African Continental Free Trade Area came up. And so countries were allowed to ratify this agenda or this initiative. So lucky enough that Tanzania is among 54 countries that have ratified the protocol on the African Continental Free Trade Area. So it allows Tanzanians to benefit from a big market. We are talking of 1.4 billion population, and with a combined GDP of 3.4 trillion US dollar. That's a very huge market, and there are very huge market opportunities that the market itself can offer. So what was concluded today was discussed the opportunities that are surrounding or emanating from this the protocol of African Continental Free Trade Area. And what is so important is that the protocol itself, or the platform, has chosen 8 countries as pioneer countries, where Tanzania is among them. And there are
8 countries.
Yes, 8 countries, Tanzania included. And luckily enough, within East Africa, about 3 countries came up. That is Tanzania, Kenya, Rwanda. Apart from those Western countries like Cameroon, as you saw, we heard Ghana. We have from the islands, Mauritius, Tunisia also came up, and also Egypt. Yes, so those in total makes 8 countries that are ready as pioneer countries to trade among themselves. We expect that as they start trading, other countries will join, and because there are stages to start, because countries are required now to relax or to reduce their tariffs, also to reduce some of the barriers of trade and the other trade restrictions. So it depends on the level of relaxation the countries are adopting or accepting. Okay,
and these 8 countries, the goods that will be exported from Tanzania, they are going to be exported within these 8 countries, not other countries.
Yes, until when those other countries also are ready, because for a country to be able to trade under free duty and the quota free, which means the reduction of tariff and the quota, you have also to reduce the amount of tariffs into your country by 90%. So it's only that the countries that are ready have done so that can trade. So that's why these 8 countries were chosen. We are told that there were 7 initially, but Tunisia came up. They indicated the willingness, and they started to trade. So they are going to trade among themselves. Then afterwards, the trade will go beyond those countries as more as they join up the rest, I can say.
Okay, since we have limited time, can you help us mention a few products that will be exported within these countries? And currently, TCCIA provides certificates of origin for products that are made in Tanzania, in the country. Are these the African Continental Free Trade Area certificates? Are they going to be the same as the ones that are currently being issued to other businessmen who are exporting products from Tanzania and to other countries abroad? Yeah,
thank you very much. There at TCCIA, we offer various certificates. The East African Community, these are different certificates because they carry features and the privileges or preferences depending on the market and the agreement that we have within the East African Community. We have another certificate for SADC countries. There's another, that is a different setup with the different member countries, so even the certificate itself is different. So even this, the African Continental Free Trade Area, is a new certificate that also TCCIA has been mandated to issue. It's different from the other two which I mentioned. It's also different from other certificate that goes to Europe, Asian market, and the AGOA in US. So those are the differences. But you asked about the products that are allowed to be traded within this platform. And Tanzania is endowed to at least to enjoy the benefits emanating from those products. I will say briefly, the protocol or the platform has allowed these building materials like tiles. Yes, what we can say corn starch and dried fruits, meat products, sisal fibers, tea and coffee, also spices, sugar, and different types of pasta, I can say, and all these are the tomato and these ketchups. So you will see that the products a lot of opportunities that Tanzania is endowed with, and we can enjoy by utilizing this market.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have a lot to tell us, but since we have limited time, we are surely going to invite you some other time so that we can learn more about the African Continental Free Trade Areas and what actually TCCIA is doing in bringing in more investors.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
The Minister for Internal Affairs, Engineer Hamad Masauni, have met and held talks with the Ambassador of UK, India, Pakistan, as well as the resident representative of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Here are more details with Faidan Gaga.
The meeting, which was held in Dar es Salaam, aims at outlining cooperation areas between Tanzania and the countries in the areas of defense and security. In his talks with the ambassadors, Engineer Masauni underlined the issue of Burundian refugees returning to their country voluntarily. On his part, the British High Commissioner to Tanzania, David Conkar, affirmed British government's commitment to cooperate with Tanzania on the area. The Palestinian ambassador to Tanzania, Hamdi Mansour Abu Ali, says his government is ready to cooperate with the Tanzanian government in the fight against crime and terrorism. For her part, the United Nations Organization for Refugees, UNHCR country representative Mahua Parums thanks the Tanzanian government for cooperation in the area of refugees. She says the organization expects to conduct a review of the whereabouts of refugees in all of the refugee camps in the country. Minister Masauni has invited investors from their countries to come and invest, insisting that Tanzania is safe and has a good environment for investment.
Investors of timber processing industries in Mufindi district in Iringa region commend the steps taken by the government to create a conducive environment for business in the region. They made their remarks during an official inspection conducted by the Iringa Regional Commissioner Halima Dendego. insisting that if the situation continues, it will increase production and employment. Irene Mwakalinga from Iringa has more details.
These are the main raw materials for more than 100 large and small timber processing industries found in the Iringa region. The Iringa Regional Commissioner Halima Dendego visits some of these factories with the aim of eyewitnessing the implementation of the instructions of the Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa, which he issued last year to require all the factories, most of which are owned by China citizens, to start making finished products here in the country instead of exporting raw materials. Dendego is impressed with the implementation of the government order.
I would like to get a written report of this industry, the work it does, the success it has attained so far, but also the challenges and future prospects, so that the government can also incorporate that information to its development plans.
On his part, the manager of the Danzong Wood Marine Board factory, Ji Hwan Ho, said that his factory intends to increase production by using modern technology and sell its products in Europe, Asia, and the United States.
In our opinion, we want to build this factory to be a modern factory and a Tanzanian factory. In a modern factory, we want to bring new technology. Like we want to producing high-quality product, not only selling in Tanzania, but also in Africa, Europe, Middle East, and also America.
According to Mufindi District Commissioner Saadi Mtambule, the timber processing industry in the Mufindi districts have provided employment to more than 1,000 young people, while also contributing to the council's income through tax.
We were not producing complete products. Almost all industries here use it to export raw materials. So after the regional administration and the Prime Minister's instructions, now industries has transformed and they are producing finished products. Now finished products will be exported. As a result, job opportunities will remain in the country and the national income will eventually increase.
The Iringa RC also visited the private forest program that trains small-scale tree farmers and forest products processing in the cooperation with the government of Finland. The chief technical advisor of the private forest program, Michael Hawk, says the program has enhanced the overall production of local tree farmers.
We help introduce better practices for commercial forestry because at the moment many of the plantations are not very productive and also they're in a condition which if a fire comes, fire can do a lot of damage.
The Iringa region earns more than 40 billion shillings per year from the timber sector. Irene Mwakalinga, TBC, Iringa.
Tanzanian Director of Confucius Institute of University of Dar es Salaam, Professor Aldin Mutembei, says the number of Tanzanians opting to study Chinese language through the institute is increasing. He says that this is because there have been a growing number of opportunities for those pursuing Chinese language courses. Nasa Kingu reports.
The Confucius Institute of University of Dar es Salaam started in 2013. The institute marks 10th anniversary this year. Tanzanian Director of the Institute, Professor Aldin Mutembei, says the institute started with a few courses, but now the institute offers a variety of courses, including bachelor's degree in education specializing in teaching English and Chinese. The infrastructure is set to expand even further countrywide.
The response is amazing. We started, people didn't know much about the Chinese language, first and foremost, but also people were afraid. Because of those characters and so on, we are afraid of enrolling, because we are having programs here at the University of Dar es Salaam, but we are also having centers outside the University of Dar es Salaam that they are also run by the University of Dar es Salaam, meaning that out there, for instance, in Twara, Lindi, Mbeya, Arusha, Tanga, Mwanza, and so on.
He insists there are numerous opportunities for those opting to pursue the causes.
There are several opportunities. First of all, I will say the skill-oriented opportunities. Chinese are very much on skills from the elementary level. They are being taught to learn something, not necessarily on theory, but also, or mainly actually, on practical issues. We have a lot of business people who are attending the evening programs because they believe, and we have seen it working, that through the interaction with the Chinese community, they are increasing their business. For instance, in engineering, civil engineering and mechanical engineering, there are a lot of opportunities where industries here and industries in China are accepting our students to go there for practical purposes.
Professor Mutembe says the just welcomed Chinese New Year symbolizes new page of growth in diplomacy and prosperity with win-win situation. But why now some Tanzanian students decide to pursue full courses in Chinese?
I have decided to start Chinese since I like languages. There were more reason that I love to study languages. I like to be expert of a language. So if I got a chance, I could study even other languages. But Chinese was most influence. I have most influence on it. Most Chinese because of opportunities that Chinese having right now.
The only thing inspired me to take this course, especially at University of Dar es Salaam, first to explore the Chinese culture.
It's opportunities, yes. Chinese being a language, as you know, language has got many opportunities. For instance, tourism, yes, you can work as a translator, a teacher.
Finally, Professor Mutembe encourages the Tanzanians to seize the sustained positive bilateral relations with China to boost their businesses and for the country, fostering tourism.
I would actually say that Tanzania should take that opportunity of the good friendship that we have to continue doing business, to attract tourism, and to tap the skills that they have.
Nasa Kingu, TBC News.
Lake Victoria is said to be among the vital areas for various East African countries' economy, including Tanzania, thus requiring joint efforts to protect the quality of water entering the lake due to environmental impacts caused by human activities. Emmanuel Samuel reports.
It is the second day of the meeting involving environmental stakeholders, where two guidelines and strategic principles agreements to protect Lake Victoria are signed by the National Council for Conservation and Environmental Management, NEMKI, in collaboration with the Center for Science and Environment in India.
Tumeingia mkataba ambao tutakuwa tukiendelea kumonitor, yani kuendelea kuangalia.
We have signed a contract in which we will be monitoring the two rivers, Nyashishi and the one Nieti. To begin with, we will observe the quality of water and the cause of environmental pollution so that they can be eliminated for rivers and Lake Victoria to remain clean.
Tunavyoendelea viendelee kupunguzwa na hiyo mito endelee kuwa safi na mwisho wa siku maji ya ziwa Victoria yaendelee kuwa safi.
The executive director of the Center for Science and Environment in India explains how the collaboration in preserving and protecting Lake Victoria for the well-being of the people living around the lake is going to bring positive impact.
So this is the roadmap that we are going to work with right now, and we certainly hope to see the big change and improvement in quality of life of the communities living around it.
On the other hand, Ms. Chaudhry outlines the importance of signing the agreements to protect Lake Victoria, while one of the participants of the meeting insisted that the citizens should continue to learn more from the experts as part of protecting the environment around them.
The new MOU that we have signed today, this is going to lay the foundation for the roadmap forward. That how do we, after understanding the challenges around the Lake Victoria, develop a clear roadmap for industrial pollution control, for household sewage management, solid waste management, so that the lake can be protected, water can be saved, and we can improve the water security in the region.
We should follow the instruction given to us by experts. I also insist that professionals encourage citizens to understand the challenges we face. There are some places where environmental pollution is taking place, and this is due to lack of understanding on how to keep the environment clean.
Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Emmanuel Samuel, TBC News.
Tanzania is endowed with a variety of touristic destinations today. Let's take a look at Chateau Wildlife Farm, located in Geita region of northwestern Tanzania. Wildlife farms are important hubs for not only tourism but also research, and they are a home to endangered species. Faithangaga has more.
Is that of Chateau Wildlife Farm. Animals here wander around freely and gracefully. The beauty of this farm is brought by the presence of a variety of 31 wild animals. Animals such as wildebeests, giraffes, zebras, elands, among others. In afternoon hours, animals at the Chateau Wildlife Farm wander around seeking for food or just fulfilling their free will to just be. This enormous farm of 1,235.6 acres also contains 200 types of birds. They can all be found here chirping and flying around. Trees such as the African blackwood and acacia can also be found here, and surely they complement this already alluring farm. Investors, both domestic and foreign, are urged to establish wildlife farms. This is because, apart from them being touristic destinations, they are also a center for research, education, and they are also usually used to preserve endangered species such as the African blackwood, one of the rarest trees in the world. Come and experience tourism differently. Welcome to Chateau Wildlife Farm. Faithangaga, TBC News.
That item concludes local news tonight, and international news is up next.
Seven people have been killed and one person critically injured in two related shootings at agricultural facilities in a coastal community in Northern California in the United States of America. The San Mateo County Sheriff, Christina Corpus, identified the suspect as Half Moon Bay resident Chun-Li Zhao, age 67, who was taken into custody after being located in his vehicle in the parking lot of the sheriff's substation in Half Moon Bay. She said a semi-automatic handgun was found in the suspect's vehicle, and the reason behind the shootings was not yet known. Half Moon Bay Vice Mayor Joaquin Jimenez said the victims included Chinese and Latino farm workers. The latest bloodshed in the United States came less than 48 hours after an attacker killed 11 people at a Lunar New Year celebration near Los Angeles, California, last week on Saturday night. The government in Burkina Faso has decided to end a military accord that allowed French troops to fight armed groups in the country. The Burkinabe government spokesman Rimtalba Jean Emmanuel Ouedraogo has said they want France to pull its troops out of the country within a month. He added that they are terminating the agreement which allows French forces to be in Burkina Faso and that action is not the end of diplomatic relations between Burkina Faso and France because the termination is normal and is foreseen in the terms of the agreement. Earlier last week, French President Emmanuel Macron said he was awaiting clarifications from Burkina Faso's transitional president Ibrahim Traoré about the decision. Since the army seized power in Burkina Faso in September 2022, several demonstrations have taken place calling for the departure of the French ambassador as well as the French troops. Armed groups linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIL have taken over large swaths of land in Burkina Faso and displaced millions of people in the wider Sahel region just south of the Sahara. France deploys about 400 special forces soldiers in Burkina Faso, which is ruled by a military government, but relations have deteriorated and tensions have soared in recent months. France deploys about 400 special forces soldiers in Burkina Faso, which is ruled by a military government, but relations have deteriorated and tensions have soared in recent months.
Thank you so much, Apasia Ringo, for the international news, which marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. Once again, I'm Rose Shayo. Thank you for watching and have a lovely night.